Hi, and welcome to this special episode of Women Getting Visible. This is our speaker edition for our Minneapolis conference. I'm Christina Vidovich, visibility strategist. We have Amy Nubson, growth strategist, and today our special guest, Malinda Shultice. Welcome, Malinda.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So excited to have you speaking on the stage with us this June in Minneapolis.
I can't wait. It's going to be a great experience. Yeah.
It's going to be wonderful getting to hear what you have to bring to the table because it's something that everybody could and use every single day, right?
hmm So, getting to talk about compassionate listening is something that, regardless of the industry that you're in or the level of experience that you have with, how you communicate, because there's so many different ways to be an effective communicator, but this is such a practical way that you can immediately take back to your personal and your professional life that can be really monumental for how people communicate with one another. And so I'm excited to get to present it to our audience here in Minneapolis.
Yay. And I love this. I mean, you have such an incredible experience from working with older people and getting into that at a younger age and then being a professor now in all of the communication skills that you already have. And I love this. What really drives you to bring this message to the conference?
Over my career in healthcare and then now in academia, it doesn't matter what I've studied or what I've done or the realms or titles that I've had. Communication has always been a key component of being successful in whatever it was that I did. And I used to think that I was an effective, active listener and such until I really dove into the material and realized I had a lot of work to do. But then what I started to also recognize is so many others also needed these sorts of resources too to better themselves. And so that's why I'm excited about the practicality of this. And I realized through trial and error my own areas of improvement that I needed. And so I'm hoping to be able to gift that to the audience too, because if it can make them more effective in their spheres of influence, then I call that a huge win.
Well, I love this too because you think listening, that's easy. We all do
Yeah.
it, right? Every single day we listen to
Yeah.
people and we're like, we don't need
Yeah.
any help in that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Tell me, like, let us know how people can improve their lives by active listening.
Honestly, we're really good at hearing, but we don't listen very often. And so we are busy thinking about our email to-do list, the grocery list, our house needs picked up. We're trying to plan this trip. We've got 1,000 things happening all at once. A coworker comes up and talks to you in the hallway, and we think that we're good at listening until we actually take a moment to realize we can improve in a lot of different ways. A lot of people, when I go and do these workshops, what I find a lot of especially high level executives, they struggle with actually listening to hear the message, hear the story within the story. They take that surface level bit of conversation, but it's not actually hearing what the person has to say. And so even though if you might be short on time, this is so super practical. It can be done in a matter of a few minutes, but have a really high impact on how effective your communication strategies can be within the workplace. Because honestly, you can teach this to other people in a relatively short period of time. And so there's a couple of different ways that we go about this. And it's really just asking people. I'm excited to have them practice it during my session because you get tried and true moments of realization of I need to implement X, Y, and Z a little bit better. And so I'll give them these little tools that they can implement, but they get to try it too, which is highly practical. And it's generally pretty eye-opening for people.
I love that because one of the things I do in sales too, when people are like, I don't know why I can't get a sale, I'm like, are you listening? Because
Yeah,
a lot of times in sales, we
absolutely.
think we're the ones that have to talk. And it's like sometimes you
Yeah,
actually get a sale by listening more than you do talking.
absolutely. That's a struggle for people, especially in certain positions like that. I see that a lot. People, if they're verbal processing types, they think that they have to say everything in order to have the person hear them. And that's not the case at all. It's such a common misconception. That's a great point.
And another thing that I love is the simplicity of picking up on the social cues.
Yes.
It's like, what is the body language telling you that you're not even paying attention to when somebody's ready to like walk away, or their thoughts are already on to the next process of,
Yes.
I've got to get on with my day. And you know they're not listening to you
Mm-hmm.
anymore.
Absolutely. And it is picking up on those verbal and nonverbal cues. And as simplistic as that might sound, too, I always use the example, when you walk into someone's office very haphazardly and they don't even turn from their laptop or computer to, they're still typing while they're talking at you. That's a great example. And I see that happen constantly. And you just know, as the person talking, that that listener is not really fully listening. And that happens so frequently. That's just one of a multitude of examples in our day that happens. And I used to be guilty of that, to be honest. I was that person. And so I'm hoping that that can slow people down enough to be more intentional with the communication in their day. And it's even if this is just building an awareness. So there's the tools, but then there's also an awareness of wanting to be more present in your day. And it's amazing the other facets of your life that improve by just taking a few minutes to do this here and there. It doesn't have to be an all day thing. Now it's become a lifestyle for me, but I can't ask that of everyone else. But if they can take that into other components of their life, it's very enriching.
Well, I know for me, as I got into my 40s, multitasking has gotten a lot trickier, right? And I used to be able to listen and do and all these things, and now I'm like, my husband will talk to me, and I'm like, "What did you?" I was typing an email. Like my focus was here. I've had to be like,
Uh-huh.
I'll like put up a finger. I'm like, wait a minute, let me finish this, and I can turn and now actively listen to you. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
become a really big part of my life now because I
Mm-hmm.
can't hear and do many things at one time, which actually I'm really grateful for because now my listening skills are actually better. And I've gotten better at letting people know, just give me a moment. I'll finish this thought so it gets it's finished. And now my
Mm-hmm.
attention is completely on you.
That's a great point because honestly, we think or we have multitasking thrust upon us as a way that we're supposed to function, especially in professional settings, only to realize that the further we get into our workspace, we're less effective for many reasons. And communication tends to be one of the absolute first components that goes out the window. And until you take a step back, kind of like what you've realized through the years is your effectiveness does plummet or your engagement does plummet. And it shouldn't have to take, a decade's worth of work like I felt like it did with me, only to come to realize I was not as great as I thought I was. and and so it does some of it is just learned experience with time, but how could we, wherever whatever stage you are in your journey, how can we be better now, and instead of having to carve out many years in the future of just trudging through to be better. We can be better now. So I think that's a great example.
I love this. And I just have a question without giving away the whole talk. Do you
Yeah.
have a little piece of advice that you could give in one small moment that somebody can implement today?
Yes. So one of the things I would suggest is take 5 minutes, whomever it is you're talking to, whether it's a family member, loved one, friend, someone you don't even know. Don't ask anything but open-ended questions for 5 minutes. Don't conclude, don't make a statement, don't try to connect your own personal narrative, but just take 5 minutes, ask questions and listen to their story, and you would be amazed how that conversation is going to go. It's going to feel great for that person, maybe a little odd for yourself, but also maybe cathartic. So that's a quick exercise that I give people because it's powerful. Even 5 minutes is powerful for both parties.
I love that. I
Yeah.
mean, really, the idea of like encouraging questions and
It's
listening to the answer.
yes. It really just provides this environment for curiosity. It's pure curiosity about another person. And then what is always shocking for especially high level C suite people, because this is hard to measure on a spreadsheet. It's hard to measure the effectiveness on a spreadsheet. But what I do tell them, I said, if you do these little things, take 5 minutes, like what I just said, and practice this, that does lead into your engagement. That improves your morale, that reduces your turnover. These simple things, how basic they might sound, they are super powerful. And so that would be a great little trick I would try to ask someone to do for the day.
You know what I love is there's another thread within the conference, that curiosity, other than the
Yeah.
clarity, courage, and the confidence, the curiosity.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's my fourth C with an asterisk next to it.
Mine too. Honestly, I was like, if I got to add another one, that's what I would add. Yes.
But it does tie into the confidence too. You become a more effective and confident person overall with more effective communication strategies you can utilize. And so it does tie completely into what this conference is in a very practical way that can help you in so many different components of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. And, Melinda, since we're inviting women to join us in this room, what kind of woman do you think should be in the room to be listening to this message who can really say, this is something I can adapt into my life?
It's important to realize this message can meet anyone where they're at, but I tend to see the most power out of people that are leaders or wanting to become leaders. So even people that are not necessarily in a formal leadership role yet, but they're really seeking to hone in on their soft skills because it's a really powerful soft skill. So people that are emerging leaders in their industry, even people that have been doing it for a while and need a reminder because we forget, we get busy and we forget. And so I tend to deal with a couple of different types of groups, and it tends to be those. And so I would say whether you're in a leadership role or not, but especially if you're trying to break into those roles, this could be really helpful.
I love that because I mean, active listening is such an important part for all of our careers and even just our
Yeah.
family lives and who we engage with every day, even to the person that might be like checking us out at at the grocery store.
Yes.
And a simple listening skill is such a great thing to have. Then I think you get less frustrated throughout the day as well.
Absolutely. It's funny. My husband always says, "Are you going to talk to the guy checking us out?" And I'm like, "It's going to happen. You just watch." And every time, it's almost like you give off a certain energy that people feel safe opening up to you. Even if you only have 2 minutes in that day, you get to be that for someone else. But it does fill your cup too. It helps in so many different components of your life to just you feel more at ease. You're less stressed. You're more engaged in what is happening around you. And I don't know a single person who doesn't want to feel more like that.
Agreed. And today in our world of AI, we want those connections with each other so much more. And we're all more into the know, like, trust. And this is an incredible tool to give.
It does. It breaks down these barriers and it forces you to be open minded in a conversation, whether you agree with the person or not. It doesn't matter. It's about just listening, and no one has to be right or wrong. It's just about being present in the moment. And that in and of itself holds so much power. And it alleviates so much stress from your life. And so this is a great tool. It's kind of going back to the basics in the world of all the AI emergence and such. It's nice to know that these basic things still exist and hold as much power as they do.
I also love that you brought up the energy of like that it kind of changes your energy because my husband will go places. He goes, "How do people just randomly come up to you and tell them their life story to you?" I'm like, I have no idea. Like, they do. And I love that. I've never even thought about the energy we give off that invite people into our space because we are listeners.
It is. It's a projected energy that a lot of people don't want to talk about that energy or that vibe that people give up, but it's very real. You can walk into a room immediately and know who you can divulge deeper conversation and secrets to than someone who feels closed off. And it is a feeling that you give off the more you do it. It's just an openness that comes off of you. And it does make life a lot more interesting. People are more willing to be able to work with you in different capacities and you just form deeper connections. It's overall it is. There's a huge energy source that surrounds it for sure.
That's wonderful. Well, and part of, energy is like getting visible, right? Is that part of
Yes.
drawing people in. So to you, why does visibility matter?
Visibility is, being able to share these gifts and this information with people on a platform that exudes positivity, especially like what you guys have built. It's about positivity and empowerment and encouragement and curiosity and all of these things. And being visible in that way and sharing this with people is what we can and should be all about. And so you've created this space for visibility where people can be their truest self and help other people along the way. And that is exactly what I think of when I think of visibility in this environment that you've created. for all of us to get to speak and all of the people who actually get to attend and be part of your experiences. I can't say it in a more holistic way than that. That's exactly how I feel.
It's just, it's just sitting with me as you're saying it. It was so beautifully well said, because when I think of visibility itself, the being seen, being heard, and you are a huge part of that being heard and yes, thank you. Thank you for your work.
Our world needs a lot of that right now for current times and even in the future. And you're creating this platform of visibility for that to happen. And so I got to celebrate you guys for doing that. I just get to be part of it. I'm along for the ride.
Well, thank you. We are enjoying this ride a lot. I mean, together we are looking at this as a big, huge idea, but it's bigger than us. And
Absolutely.
the more we want to rise women up and get people together, because then the whole goal is that they do the same for others. And the
Exactly.
whole idea is just to get bigger and bigger than us. And I love that you're a part of it from the beginning because that
Yeah.
ripple just keep going.
Yeah, I agree. It feels like the pay it forward, like what you guys are doing when in the Starbucks line when you're supposed to pay for the person behind you, that it just gives you warm fuzzies for the entire day. And you guys create that same sense for people. And it is the right thing for us to do to help others along their journey, just as you guys are helping people on theirs. And so you just created this collaboration for that and this space for that to happen, which is awesome.
Well, Melinda, thank you today for joining us today for our special edition of Women Getting Visible. We love what you have to bring to the table of active listening and the idea of bringing listening to the table every single day and how it shifts our energy, how it brings people into our worlds in a completely different way, but also allows us to understand that our language also needs to be heard. And we get to be kind of
Absolutely.
responsible for that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how
Mm-hmm.
you do it, is the listening practice of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that you're bringing that to the table and going to help all the women in the room understand these new skill sets, or maybe just a reminder of some of those things, because like you said
Absolutely.
earlier, we get busy and we start going
Yeah.
forward and we forget some things that we need to bring back into our lives. So
Yes. We
yes,
are a
thank you so
well-intentioned
much.
bunch of women, but sometimes we just need a little gentle reminder, and this is that gentle reminder.
Exactly. I think that's true for so many things, but listening
Yeah,
is key.
absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I can't wait to see everyone in Minneapolis in June.
Incredible. And I'm sitting here just continuing to listen and enjoy this conversation. And I can't wait to be in the room with everyone. And Melinda, thank you so much for being our special guest today on this special speakers edition of Women Getting Visible. I'm Christina and Amy, and thank you.
Yeah, join us June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in Minneapolis.
Share your story.